This episode of the Haunting You podcast is brought to you by VFX. Scare, entertain, and promote with VFX products. Learn more at vfxcreates.com.
Coming to you live from the Chamber of Hunters Studios, this is Haunting You. I'm John Schelt.
I'm Keoni Hutton.
And I'm Leslie Reed.
Welcome, everyone, back to the Haunting You podcast. We kind of had a huge June, didn't we?
We did.
We did. We put out like 3 episodes in the first week, which was unusual. Please don't take that as like this is what's going to happen all the time.
We wish that it could, but life is not that nice to us.
Life is not that nice to us.
Well, except for Peach and the bar gets set too high.
We're trying not to set the bar too high. That is accurate. June was a little crazy because, we did our tool episode, tools that we recommend for hunters. It ended up being incredibly long, way longer than I think anybody wants to listen to us talk about things. So we broke that one up into 2 episodes. And then we did the prototype lunch and learn that we hope to be doing more of over the rest of this year. But like all of that happened in the first week of June. So we put out 3 episodes, and you've heard nothing from us for the rest of the month. Well, we're back. We're still here. We're still doing our thing. And I'm hopeful that we'll find some kind of a regularity here as the summer goes on. Leslie's laughing
Not
at me.
with our luck.
We'll see what happens.
Does seem unlikely.
It does seem unlikely. That is accurate. In the meantime, I would love to give an update of kind of where we are with the haunt, and then talk about where we're going, or we have some plotting to do today. Is where I really what I want to say. So materials are coming along nicely. I found 3 more sets of doors that have gotten me an extra 17 closet doors. So we
have another 4 if you'd come back here and pick up the ones that I keep finding along Buckley. Like, most random things.
Collect them and then bring them with you when you come.
You're funny.
Yeah. So absolutely freaking huge. Picked up 15 doors from one guy, and he was trying to sell them for like $180. I sent him a message this is all on Facebook Marketplace, sent him the message and said, hey, we're doing this charity haunted house. Would you be willing to offer a discount on these doors? Because this is what we're looking for the haunt. And he gave them to us for free, which was huge. Absolutely freaking huge. I got a little bit frustrated with him because he is the worst communicator that I have ever met in the world. Gave me the wrong address. And then when I showed up at the wrong address twice, and then when I showed up at the first time, he didn't give me an address, which was annoying because he said, hey, I'll leave them out for you. And then I'm going out of town. And I'm like, great, send me the address. Nothing. I heard nothing from him for a week. So I reach out a week later. I'm like, hey, I'm still interested. I would love to come get these. All I need is an address. He's like, sure, come on Sunday, and here's the address. So like, great, that address is like 15 minutes from my work. Any chance I could pick them up on Friday? No, I'm sorry. Sunday, it's got to be Sunday. Fine, I'll come. I will haul my ass back out to work on a Sunday for these doors. So I haul my ass back out to work on a Sunday and show up at the address he gives me and ring the doorbell, and a sleepy-looking man in his pajamas opens the door. And I'm like, hi, I'm Keoni. I'm here to pick up the doors. And he gives me the most puzzled look I have seen on a human being. And I'm like, does Christian live here? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no Christian here. I'm like, I show him my phone, like, this address. He's like, yeah, that's my address. But no, there's no Christian. There's no doors. I'm sorry. I can't help you.
He assumed you were there to murder him. I'm pretty sure.
Probably. I'm sorry for disturbing you at like 9 a.m. on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's listening.
Blame Christian is all I'm going to say. So I'm feverishly texting Christian, trying to get anything, and I'm hearing nothing from him. So I'm like, well, shit. So I ended up just like, I gave up that morning, and I was like, I'm going to go eat my feelings. Hey, look, there's a Dunkin' Donuts nearby. Let's go to Dunkin'. So I go over to Dunkin'. Dunkin' doesn't have a drive-through. It has a teeny tiny parking lot because it's Washington, D.C., and I cannot get my truck in there That's not true. I could get it in. I'm not confident I could get it back out. So like, I'm not going to Dunkin'. Ooh, there's some McDonald's next door. Let's go get some burritos. Crappy McDonald's burritos. So while I'm getting the crappy McDonald's burritos, guess who texts me back? It's Christian. He gives me the proper address, which was about 2 blocks away from where he had given me, but not the same house number, not the same road. Like, I do not understand how he got it so wrong while being so close. Like, truly confused. But I show up at the new address after texting to a couple of people, hey, I'm going over to this address. If you don't hear from me, bomb it or something, because he deserves it at this point. But I get there, he gives me the doors. I drive home a little bit sketchily because the back of my car was not totally prepared for 15 doors, but we made it work. So we have an extra 17 doors at this point, which, for everyone keeping count, we lost 7 doors last year. So we are +8 right now. We have 8 more doors than we did the last time we did Sanguine, which is great. We are in a great spot. Leslie's doing math. Leslie's doing math. And my math may not be mathing.
I don't think your math is mathing. If we were 7 down and we have 17, the difference is 10.
I'm up 10.
But
plus
that's
10.
Really easy math.
I'm just talking fast.
There is no such thing as easy.
You're an engineer.
Oh, she's gotten there. That's a really good point.
Fine.
We're not even talking complicated math here. You don't even have to find x, let alone do a derivative.
I need a spreadsheet. Where's my spreadsheet? Anyway, so we're plus 10 right
but
now.
Then again, I have like literally a spreadsheet open every time I'm at work. That's literally just, I'm just doing stupid calculations.
Engineers do that too. Like,
yeah.
Show me an engineer who does not use Excel to do their basic math. And yeah, they don't
Seriously,
exist.
The number of accountants who don't baffles me. They still
do it on like the big calculator with the
with the handle and the roll. They're still doing it on that, and I'm sitting going, "Why the would you do that?"
You know what though? Like,
no, I'm not talking that.
Yeah, but like,
I'm talking like
you're talking about the one with the paper.
Yeah, I'm talking like the producers.
Yeah,
I want to be producers. That's what they're doing this on. The number of accountants I know who that's still how they do their math.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
If it works.
But you can't do complicated math.
Accounting shouldn't be complicated.
It shouldn't be, but people make it a lot more complicated than it should be. A number of times I've been like, why don't we just do this? And they're like, I guess you could just do that. Like, this is what happens when you have a not traditionally trained accountant doing accounting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at things as, we don't need to do this, and this. We can just do this to this to this. Nice and okay.
See, it helps to have an outside perspective.
Sorry, John, we're doing math.
Yeah.
Although technically it's his fault because he did the math wrong in the first place. Hi, Kaylee.
Indeed. John, what were you going to say about the door count?
I was just going to say, for those of our listeners who may have skipped a few episodes or just generally really confused, why are they're just like, why are they putting all these effort into doors? What the hell's going on with these people?
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So, hi, Layla.
We are cheap and can't afford building materials. And so to mitigate that, I collect old closet doors, the flat panel ones, and that's what we use for our wall panels.
Collect is an excellent word.
Collect is the accurate
collect
word,
is accurate.
Because I have 90 some doors at this point. Like,
do you spell collect STEAL?
Remember, he's an engineer. He doesn't spell.
Right.
Accurate.
Layla, do not go under my desk. You will break my internet.
I have not. I can't even say that with a straight face. I have absolutely stolen some of these doors. In my defense,
you stolen them off of okay, hang on. By stolen, do you mean like they were out back leaning up against a wall or in a dumpster and you took them, or you grabbed a drill and took them off the hinge of a
I have never grabbed a drill and taken them off a working establishment. I have not done that. I have totally been driving home, seen a door laying on the ground on the side of the street, done a loop-de-loop to come back, pulled over and grabbed it.
I don't think that qualifies as stealing if it's been
I'm cleaning up the environment is what I'm doing.
You are massaging the truth.
You two are ridiculous. Oh my god! I'm not just talking about you two.
I know. Leslie's dogs are demanding attention even more than John and I are, which is, I think, saying something.
Oh, wait till you guys meet Kaylee.
So anyway, our material hunt is going well, is the big takeaway here. So we're making good progress there. I'm still in search of a tent. I would love to find.
What was that noise?
John, can you see the video? Because Leslie has a filter. Leslie has a background on Zoom, and so it does the AI thing where it only shows Leslie, and then out of nowhere, a dog's head just appeared licking her face. It was pretty spectacular.
That does seem pretty cool.
I might put that as a reel or something on Instagram because I think people will enjoy that. Anyway,
who wouldn't enjoy puppies?
I'm still looking for a tent. I would love to be able to find a tent that we can then use when we take this pro, next year, year after. But I cannot find anything for less than $5,000 roughly, which is just beyond our, I have other things I need to put that money into, right?
Have you thought about stealing the $5,000? It's kind of the same way as the doors.
I have thought about it. Not going to admit that here though. Wait. Too late.
You just sort of
tricked me. You tricked me. Yeah. So still looking. We'll see what happens on that front. In the meantime, we're tracking, I think, for the construction side. The website is
looking really good.
I think it's looking pretty good. So I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that we are using Google Sites.
Okay, I'm going to turn off this background because these two are just ridiculous. Hello, Kaylee.
There we go. So I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that we are using Google Sites to do the website. I've got the homepage. I've got a page dedicated just to the crypt. I've got another page dedicated to the asylum, which will be the walkthrough, and I have our FAQ up. And I want to the FAQ. I think is the most important piece of our website, aside from where are we located, when are we open, what are we offering, right? The FAQ is what keeps people from contacting me in the midst of the show and hopefully answers their questions so they can just show up, right? That's the goal. So here's what I've come up with on the FAQ. And if you guys have other questions, I would love to incorporate them as well. So when are you open? Where are you located? What is the price of admission? What kind of donations does the food bank take? Is this appropriate for my child? What is a home haunted house? How do I play hide and shriek? Hang on to that one. We'll talk more about that here shortly. How did you build all this? I love this question because it gives us a chance to just kind of brag about ourselves. And if you'd like to learn more about what it takes to pull this off, check out the Haunting You podcast because that's where we talk about it, right? What do you do with the donations you collect? Well, we give it to the food bank. That's right. This is awesome. How can I support what you do? There's a link to our Redbubble site as well as the Haunting You podcast. And yeah, so that's what I came up with so far.
What about that one guy who asked if he was going to be murdered?
I'm not willing to call that a frequently asked question when we've only gotten the question once.
Is it just once?
It was. I mean,
pretty good.
We keep going back to the guy who asked this, so I think it was just once.
The question is, was it a valid
question? I had a quarter
question?
for every time somebody asked me if they were going to get murdered.
I would have 2 quarters, which isn't a lot.
Weird,
but it's weird that it's happened more than once.
Twice.
Phineas and Ferb, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would ask you then is it a valid question?
It's absolutely a valid question.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not willing to confirm
entertain it,
but I'm not willing to entertain it. And for the same reason that you answered that question very carefully, are you going to be murdered if you come here? I can't guarantee that you're not.
That is such a bad answer. I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's a lawyer's answer.
It's a lawyer's answer. We will not murder you. You will not be murdered on our property. You could get murdered on the way home. I have no control over that. I am not willing to commit to anything.
So the honest answer is probably not.
Probably not. I'm not putting that in the FAQ, but I hope all of you are enjoying this discussion because here we are.
I do think you mentioned contacting you in the middle of things for it. Man, I feel like I need to make a bunch of burner accounts and just ask you frequently asked questions about things, just things in the world.
Are we going to talk about avocados and
so
probably.
Question for you.
Probably.
Quick question. Do sharks sleep?
Some of them.
See, I feel like that's a frequently asked question. I've heard that a lot.
You know what? That is, in fact, a frequently asked question. I have limited space on this website, and so I have to carefully choose which frequently asked questions we are answering, and I'm determined to make sure that it is the most relevant.
Leslie, you said that was a lawyer's answer. That was a father's question. Answer of answering an annoying question from their child.
Like you guys know how that works or something.
Indeed. So I'm really excited about the FAQ. The FAQ is up and the asylum page is up. It's got pictures from our last haunt. And here's what I say about it. The manor house that now stands upon the grounds of Sanguine Creek has had many uses throughout its life. Built upon the remains of a Revolutionary War fort, the house that was once used as a pox ward and hospital has been converted by Dr. Edwards to house the most critically ill of his patients. Is the asylum right for your loved one? Step inside and see the effectiveness of Dr. Edwards' latest treatment with your own eyes.
It's awesome.
I love that because it sets up our backstory. It gives a little bit of history and it brings the guests into our story. Is the asylum right for your loved ones? Step inside and see the effectiveness of Dr. Edwards' latest treatment with your own eyes. When they come, they're coming to do a visit of the hospital to see if it's right for their loved ones. They are in our story now.
Higher premise of the story.
Exactly. And this is what we try to do. We want to bring our guests into the story. This is how it's starting. When people see our website, they are immediately brought into our story. And then right under that, it gets into the logistics. The asylum is a walk-through haunted house suitable for trick-or-treaters of all ages. It uses theatrical effects like smoke and strobe lights combined with creepy characters and animatronics to frighten. No touching is allowed by the actors or the guests. The asylum will be open November 1st and 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Cost of admission is free, but please bring a donation of non-perishable food for the Southern Maryland Food Bank. I say that 4 different times on this website. I'm still going to get questions about it. You watch.
Oh, yes.
So that's the asylum page. And then the crypt. The Sanguine Creek Estates crypt has been on the grounds as long as settlers have lived in the region. Built as a chapel by the first settlers, it was later converted into the crypt we see today to accommodate those who perished while the estate served as a hospital during the War of 1812. If you're patient, on a clear fall night, you can still hear the ghosts of the crypt's inhabitants telling the stories of how they lived and died along the Sanguine Creek. I got chills
awesome.
reading that.
That's very good.
I freaking love it. I think I'm so happy with how that turned out. And same thing. There's the backstory and then the logistics right underneath. The SCE Crypt is a multimedia experience that tells the backstory of Sanguine Creek Estates through the stories of those who live there. It runs continuously every Friday and Saturday night starting September 26th. Now I have a deadline that I've imposed on myself until November 2nd, 2025 from sunset until 9 p.m. Guests are welcome to come explore the grounds, listen to the stories, and hunt for ghosts using their mobile phones. This is where I am introducing the interactivity of the haunt that we want to build this year. And that's what I want to spend the rest of this episode talking about, how we are going to make this more interactive for the guests who are coming. We'll have the haunted house, but not all of the guests are going to want to go through that. They may have young kids with them. They may have trick-or-treaters who are too afraid to go in. I want something for those guests as well.
Yeah.
And a few years ago at Fear Expo, I met a gentleman named Nathan Allred. And he runs a company that puts together pre-packaged events that anybody can purchase, and he'll supply you with basically all of the information you need in order to put together one of these events. And then you can go and find supply. So he gives you all the multimedia, he gives you the marketing, he gives you the build files and parts lists to set up the facades. And then you can go and source the parts and the printers and whatever on your own. So you're not tied to, he's not supplying everything. You're not having to buy it from him. You're buying the intellectual property, and then you can go find the best deal to make the stuff that you need to execute, right? And I love this business model because it gives me lots of flexibility on just picking the pieces that make sense.
Everything.
Right? And when we went back to Fear Expo 2 years ago, he had a new product called Hide and Shriek Ghost Hunters. He gave me a bunch of these ghosts that are made out of just like expanded plastic tag board, like you would use, like poster board, right? And there is a tap. What is that technology called? RFID. RFID.
Oh, yeah.
RFID. Yeah. So each one of these ghosts has an RFID that will, when you tap your phone to it, it takes you to a website with a little animation. So you don't have to download any app onto your phone. You just tap your phone, it opens the website, and you interact with it. And then it comes with these cards. Let me pull up one of these too. So here we go. So this is the decoder card. And each of the ghosts has a number associated with it. So when you tap your phone, it will give you the number that is associated with that ghost. You use your decoder web in the corner to figure out what letter that corresponds to, and then find the ghost shape that matches the one that you found, and the letter goes there. And what I love about this is he gave me the digital file for this card so we can customize it to whatever message we want.
That's awesome.
Right now it's set up for Tombstone, but we can make it anything. And I'm freaking excited about this.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Excellent. So there's one excited. All right.
This is so freaking cool. Like I said, it's super customizable. The Sanguine Creek Estates logo will be there on one side, and then we'll set up our own message on the back. That's one of the things I want to talk about today. What message should we put on the back? Because I'm a little bit torn on what to put here. It needs to be a little bit limited because you need space for the ghost to fit in there, right? But otherwise, we have a lot of flexibility. So right now it's got 9 ghosts. The word is Tombstone. That was the default that it came with.
Right.
I had the thought like maybe Wendigo, or It's a Wendigo, or Beware the Wendigo, something along those lines. I don't know that I want to bring the Wendigo in. Other limitation.
Save that.
Other limitation cannot be more than 9 different letters because I have only 9 ghosts, and so no more than 9 letters, 9 different letters. So we could probably do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, except that has 17 different letters in all of it, which would not work, is my point. So Les, what were you saying about you think you want to save the Wendigo?
I want to save the Wendigo, in part just
keep it a surprise.
Keep it a surprise. So if they start at the crypt, it's not getting spoiled when they go through the haunt.
And this is going to be open the entire month.
Yeah.
Whereas the haunt itself will only be open at the end.
Yeah. I think we save the Wendigo and go with something else.
Thoughts?
Control F Shark.
Agreed.
We're not doing Control F Shark.
It almost sounds like an animal rights campaign, like Save the Wendigo.
Save the Wendigo.
Promotional posters like that.
We need shirts that say Save the Wendigo. What about like Sanguine Creek? Sanguinecreek. So that's 13 letters.
What about just Sanguine?
Sanguine. That's 8. And then the last one could be like an exclamation point.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. What of Asylum? ASYLUM, 6 letters. Who are you gonna call?
No touchy.
No touchy.
Sorry, no touch haunt. That's what happens when I don't sleep.
The haunt name's an idea. We'll put a pin in this one.
Yeah.
Think on it.
Yeah.
If you come up with something better, like we have plenty of time to do this, because to make this happen, all I have to do is do the editing on the electronic file and get them printed. So like,
what about Dr. Edwards?
DREDWARDS. That's 9. DREDWARDS. That's 9. So that could work too. And my thought is I'll have Dr. Edwards out interacting with people all month. Every day that we're open, Dr. Edwards will be out there talking with people, hyping the haunt, maybe bringing out some of our puppets and like interacting with people. Like I think that would be fun. So, and Dr. Edwards will be giving out prizes to the people who complete their cards as well. We need to talk about prizes too, because I've had a couple thoughts on these. There's always the like ridiculous, simple Halloween-y type things like spider rings and vampire fangs, and so I thought about like just getting a treasure box that has a bunch of the stuff in it. And one of the things that came with the Hide and Shriek was sources for making custom like
such
pins and things.
And
so I thought I was pitching some pin ideas to John and Les that have like the Sanguine Creek Estates logo on it. And because what is that? That's free marketing on top of prizes for people.
I was going to say, do you have any leftover inventory from like the Redbubble stuff, or assuming no?
Very no, because Redbubble does not maintain inventory. They make it when people order it. So we could certainly order some things from Redbubble. I think that would be a little more expensive than I want to get to for free prizes, though.
Well, I guess what I meant was, do we have any leftover inventory from anything?
Yeah. We certainly have some Haunting You shirts, but again,
I knew it.
Though none of them are your size. Sorry, dude. Next time I order, though, I'm making one special for you.
Get my shirt away.
I know, but like pins, I was finding I could get 100 for 31 cents each.
That's not bad.
That it's $30 like for 100 pins. That is very doable with our budget compared to a shirt, which are typically, $15, $20 a piece. I'm not giving that away for free. We cannot afford that.
Yeah.
Not for the number of people that I hope play this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think kind of a combo of pins and like stickers.
Stickers is a pretty good idea, sure. Or tattoos even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other part of it, I think, should be like the little treasure box of kitty howl. Because, again, we're looking at this of there's going to be some small kids, but there also might be some older kids. It's like, okay, I don't necessarily want fake vampire fangs, but hey, I'll take a pin. I'll take a sticker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think kind of a kind of that dual level, so they can pick from A or B to kind of, again, address the age variety of what we are trying to engage.
Indeed. Yeah. So I kind of like that. Pins, stickers, and then the treasure chest. And honestly, those can be in the treasure chest. I also want to look into like what's it cost to do a custom temporary tattoo. Because I would totally tattoo SCE on myself with a temporary tattoo.
Where?
On my ass, of course. That's worth
no.
Right next to the dolphin.
That's the beauty. If you run some sort of contest, or if we get X amount of followers or subscribers or whatever, then the person or group who does the most gets to choose where to put it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, so I'll do some more digging.
Man's gonna love that.
On the face. Sorry, I can't be on the face. Coast Guard has strict regulations about where it can go.
Man, that got intense.
Indeed. So,
come on, you honestly think that people who win a contest to put a tattoo on my body wherever you want aren't going to put it in the most obnoxious or painful place ever?
I mean, Bodie McBoface. Like, need I say more? So, yeah. So, got it. I have a couple of ideas on things for prizes. Think about, John and Les, what message we want to put on this, and we'll play with that later. So, Hide and Shriek is going to be a big part of making our grounds more interactive. Of course, we're going to have the crypt out there, which will be telling stories. I also intend to have the singing pumpkins doing their thing because they're wonderful. And maybe I'll pick up a couple more songs this year because I pretty much do that every year. So that's 3 things.
I got the Sandy Claus.
I have that.
Okay, good.
I take it back. I don't think I have that one. I have Oogie Boogie Song.
Okay, well, that is appropriate as well. But Kidnap the Sandy Claus is my favorite.
I don't know if anyone offers that. I'll have to look. So we have that, right? Which is certainly entertaining. I want something more interactive. And if you go back a few episodes to, oh God, when did we talk about this? September of last year, roughly. I went to the Forbidden Forest experience for Harry Potter, right? And they had some of the just absolutely freaking coolest interactive attractions that I have ever seen. And it was stuff like you wave your wand and say something, and on the other side there's an effect. So like Lumos and all of these lanterns illuminate, or Nox and it put out all of it turned off these iridescent mushrooms, right?
Oh, why don't you want to turn off the mushrooms?
But like, one, I can do that with a motion sensor and a microcontroller and, something out there doing this. Like, that is well within my level of capability to accomplish. I want to do something like that. But there is nothing in our storyline that involves the guests having magic wands and casting spells. So how do we incorporate something like that?
Verbal triggers into causing haunt-related disturbances.
Oh, interesting.
So think Bloody Mary. If you say X, this, you might see this. If you do this, you might see this. These are the things that trigger a number of the ghosts on our estate.
Interesting.
Proceed with caution.
Intriguing.
I have never looked into verbal triggers. Let me jump over to Fright Props, because Fright Props is one of the best sources for finding things for creating your own animations.
Well, and even if it's not like a verbal trigger, we should still be able to, hey, if you make this motion, whatever.
So here are the options. They have the beam sensor. They have an RFID sensor, which is an interesting idea. Key switch, keypad, motion detectors, impact trigger, pressure sensing mats, wireless triggers. So something that, Dr. Edwards could be out there triggering. Ooh, this one's got 12 relays too. So could have multiple things around the yard, all controlled by one remote control in my pocket. Reflective beam sensor, vehicle motion detector, wall mountain button, hand trigger, seat switch. Someone sits down and it triggers. Premium RFID prop trigger. They do have a sound sensor, but I don't think it is as sensitive as you need to say something in particular, right? Light sensor. Ooh, a light sensor where you shine a flashlight
at it.
Ooh, there's an idea where, give people flashlights, and if they shine it over an area, it may reveal a ghost.
You'd have to pay for flashlights. What if you just use your phone?
Potentially. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Reed switch, magnetic sensor, foot switch, stainless steel exit button, recessed proximity sensor, metal detecting sensor prop, surface mount proximity sensor, touch sensor. I need to look more into how that works. Morse code prop trigger for escape rooms, photoelectric laser, joystick controller, toggle switch, laser and light detecting. This flashlight idea, I think, is the best one that we've seen so far.
So going back to the idea we had before we started recording, how can we incorporate sharks?
I have a very selective memory. I really want the grounds this year to be just haunted to the nth degree, right? Like, as many ghosts as we can fit in there, I want it all. So
a shark was wrongfully harpooned and has come back.
And is now swimming around. You're like, you know what? Maybe that's exactly what we do.
I was going to say, so if you want, I mean, you and I generally, all three of us, we'd like to confuse people sometimes. And I think it'd be funny if you just had, like, maybe funny is not what you're going for. But then now that I think about it, I'm like, actually, now that I say that, but I don't know, you have like a bunch of ghosts and apparitions that make perfect sense for that. But then you have one shark.
Then one shark. You know what? That is completely a possibility. I've got a ton of ghost animations already, and in fact, I got to give a shout out to HalloFX real quick because they are just phenomenal in so many ways. I love working with these people. They HalloFX.com. Go check them out because they offer digital decorations at prices that are significantly less than I see anywhere else, but still incredibly good quality. And I was chatting with them the other day and mentioned, hey, I really love your signalman animation that they created last year, which is like, a trained signalman carrying a lantern, and he's super cool. But I'm like, if you ever did a female version of that character, that would be amazing because I have a female character in my haunt that carries a lantern and is like a guiding spirit that helps the guests escape from the asylum, right? And they're like, hey, send us a picture of your character. And so I sent them a picture of the character, and they created a spirit based on our character. And now I have digital files of the character that my wife created, my wife originated, that we're going to be having throughout the haunt. And I'm so freaking excited. Thank you guys, because that was amazing. The level of detail, like how much it looks like
looks phenomenal.
It looks phenomenal. And I showed it to my wife the day I got the first file, and she's like, that's me. They made a me. So she was really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to incorporate it into what we're doing out here. HalloFX, go check them out. They are amazing. I cannot gush enough about how awesome they are.
We should also throw in some things about that's some solid husbanding there. Like you have one of the very few positive aspects of the haunt.
How many wives? How many wives can say that their husband got a custom decoration based on their character to put into their haunted house? Like,
well, I think as far as the story goes, she's one of the few light at the end of the tunnel things.
That's it. She is the light at the end of the tunnel.
She's not a bad apparition. We will put it that way.
Exactly. She is not a bad apparition, and she's so ghost. She is a good ghost. And so they created her saying, if you get lost, you need only seek my light. Keep moving forward. Darkness lies behind. That kind of stuff. In character, we can insert it anywhere, and I think it's going to be awesome.
That's
can you put her? Did you say we can update what she says?
We cannot.
Can we have them do it?
And actually,
probably.
Given kind of what we're doing, we probably could update it, but the mouth is not going to match the words necessarily.
I mean, would you be too worried about lip syncing one?
But that's just it. Like with how far away they are, the lip syncing.
It's not going to be super obvious.
I don't think it's going to matter too much. I was just thinking, for Leslie's idea, we could have her say "Control F Shark."
Exactly.
Just in a spooky way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is completely doable. I like this light idea. It looks like this light sensor that Fright Props carries will be perfect. People will shine a flashlight, and then we can just have a bunch of different ghosts hooked up to a single projector that pop up I'm going to have to get garden arches or something to put the screen on.
Yeah.
But we could have that in a couple of different locations around the yard. That is very doable. We can make this happen. I love this.
Yeah, I think that'll be really, really cool. And we can also say, hey, we can find a way to work it into the story of beware our ghosts are, very, very sensitive to, I don't know. I need to. It's that creativity level of how much sleep and how much caffeine. I'm going back and forth between
I get
yep
you. I totally get it.
But basically something that, again, brings it into the story, so it's not just like, oh yeah, if you shine your flashlight you might find shit.
And going back to like
turning it into something that is into the storyline and what we're doing.
Exactly. And going back to our operating your haunt episode and the importance of operational signage, I think we just create a informational sign that sits at the entrance, and then like anywhere you see this logo, shine a light and you may spot a ghost.
Yep. I think that, or something along the lines of, do you dare to find some of our more reclusive, hauntings? If so, do XYZ.
Yeah, exactly. So Les, you're in charge of coming up with the wording of all of that, and then we'll poster made up and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So we've got Hide and Shriek. We've got The Crypt. We've got Singing Jack-o'-lanterns, and now we have interactive ghosts that will be scattered about the property.
Yep.
What? Oh, last thing I want, the Wendigo.
Yes.
So back to the Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience again. They had a ridiculous effect that I loved, where they were reenacting the scene where Remus Lupin becomes a werewolf and transforms into the werewolf. And the way that they did this was they had literally a 2D cutout of Remus's werewolf shape that they backlit with a super bright light. And so you just saw the shadow of the werewolf far off in the distance, right?
Okay.
I have, my property is surrounded by forest, and down the hill where we're not going to have anybody coming on the side of the house is just a foresty area. And I think that would be perfect for that kind of an effect.
Yeah.
So I think that using the light triggers again might be the way to do this. And in this case, rather than a ghost, we had the Wendigo.
I wouldn't do light. I would do motion.
It's going to be far enough away that, well, if we do motion, then anytime someone walks by, it's going to go off.
But if we put the motion detector in a specific place where it's not going to trigger very often, so that it's if they end up walking way far out on the perimeter, or in a very, very specific spot, or even just having a pressure trigger. So they have to walk through something specific, and then that's what's going to trigger it, and that's what's going to flash it. And not to make things complicated for you, but it'd be kind of neat if we had a couple, just 2 or 3 of them, and then each one had a different angle shadow of the Wendigo.
Oh, interesting.
So you've got one in profile, you've got one flat on.
Are you talking around the yard, or all in the same kind of location? It looks like he's
around
a little bit,
around
different places. I don't know if my yard's that big.
Okay.
Because I'm losing a whole side of it to the haunt. I don't know. Well, there's going to be a crypt.
So the other thing with Wendigo lore is they don't travel always on the ground. They can climb.
Oh, put one on the house.
You've got the house. You've got all of those trees.
Next to the chimney. Oh, geez, Les.
Yep. Wendigo lore in a number of the varieties of lore, they climb. Because they live in a forest. What better way to hunt your prey than to drop down on it?
Oh my God, I freaking love this. Yeah, that's happening. That's absolutely happening. So we'll have one back on the ground in the trees. We're going to put one up on top of the house. And then we'll have one. And then I've got this little copse of trees at the top of the hill over here where people exited last time. I don't think I want people to exit through the trees this time, because if we are trying to make this a design that we can pick up and put somewhere else, I want the entrance and the exit to be next to each other, right?
Yeah.
And so the Wendigo is going to be inside the haunt this time.
Okay.
That means that whole area
Is available.
where I was before is now available but it's not going to be as visible. It'll be visible from the street. It won't be as visible from inside.
So again, this is where that you hit the right spot.
You hit the right spot. Exactly. Okay. I have ideas. Okay. Time to start executing. Let me write all this down. So we have the crypt.
Mm-hmm.
We have Hide and Shriek.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ghosts, flashlights. And then we have the Wendigos, silhouettes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. We can make this happen. So I think it's time for me to start building up layout drawings and figuring out where all of this is going to go. And then, of course, I need to start building. And it's July 1st. So
2 months.
We're opening September 26th. I am down
3 months.
We're just under 3 months.
You got this.
Time to get to work.
To say the least.
But as always, people have no idea what we're going to be planning. And so whatever we manage to accomplish by the time we open, that's what we accomplish. We aim high and we'll see how
we'll
it
hit
goes.
something.
We'll hit something. We aim high and what is that thing? Shoot for the moon. That way, if you missed, you still land up
Still be
among the
stars.
Yeah. Something like that.
Although technically you won't be, because there's only one star that you could be close enough to be called among the stars, because the stars don't just like speckle. They're much further apart.
Fact.
So
Totally
it's not
unrelated.
quite as inspirational.
Totally unrelated, but the new space telescope in Chile, I think it's in Chile, they're starting operational testing of it. And the results, so this is like the largest and fastest digital camera ever made, right?
Ooh, pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures. It did a segment of sky, just a small sliver of sky,
yeah,
and could see like 10 million galaxies in this tiny sliver of sky.
Oh my God,
it discovered
that's
over 2,000 asteroids in our solar system that were previously unknown, 7 of which are near Earth asteroids, all in this tiny sliver of sky. Like, the things this telescope is doing are just absolutely ridiculous. I found a video on it. I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. Even if they got 1 degree of a snapshot, that's still 364 degrees that they would have to go through to even map a portion of it.
And the cool thing is how quickly this camera is taking images, because it can map the entire sky in about 2 days. And so over the course of its life, it's going to be mapping the sky every 2 days. So we're going to have, for the first time lapses of how the universe is moving. Like,
oh my God, that is...
I'm so excited. It's freaking cool.
So amazing.
I'll send it to you. It's really freaking cool. But this is not an astronomy podcast. This is a haunting podcast. So let's take a moment.
Speaking of asteroids, tomorrow is International Asteroid Day.
June 30th is International Asteroid Day. I guess yesterday by the time this comes out. Everyone, I hope you have celebrated International Asteroid Day.
Yay, asteroids. They killed the dinosaurs.
Just one. So anyway, this is not an astronomy podcast. This is a haunting podcast. Let's take a break, recenter, and then we will be right back with a special guest and a special Chambers Corner.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for listening to our sponsors.
And if you would like to sponsor the show, definitely reach out on any of our social media. That is, of course, facebook.com/hauntingyou with just the letter U, on YouTube at hauntingyou, just the letter U, or via Instagram at Haunting University. You can reach us via any of those ways. And we would love to help you get your message out to the haunt industry. And I promise you, you will not find advertising cheaper than on the Haunting You podcast. So reach out to us and we'll see what we can do to help you get your message out to our listeners. For now, though, I am super excited because we have a guest coming on the podcast to talk. And I was very sad to hear earlier this week that Rob Knowlton had to very suddenly step down as president of the Chamber of Haunters. Sounds like he's got some medical things going on. If you know him, definitely reach out. I'm sure he would appreciate the support. But he had to step away from his duties a little bit earlier than he had intended. He had planned to switch to transfer the presidency, one of those words, of the Chamber of Haunters over to his successor at the presidency. Les is back just in time to correct me on my grammar. How appropriate. Thank you, Les. He was trying to transfer the presidency of the Chamber of Haunters over to his successor at the Texas Haunters Convention. It ended up happening about a month earlier, but we are very excited to host today's Chambers Corner. With the new Chamber of Haunters president, Miss Kimberley Grant, here with us today. Kimberley, thank you so much for taking the time. I can only imagine how busy your week has been this week with the sudden departure of Robert and you trying to come up to speed. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us here on the Haunting You podcast.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I mean, you guys have been great supporters of the Chamber of Haunters, and we just want to continue that relationship and move forward in a positive direction for the entirety of the community.
You are already sounding very presidential, so I think you are well suited for the role.
I like it.
Give us a little bit of background about yourself first. You run a haunt down in Florida. Tell us a little bit about your haunt, how you got started in the haunted attraction industry. Give us your story.
Well, we kind of have a haunt. We have a 501c3 nonprofit called FX, and we do something a little bit different than the average haunt community. We don't have a set home. We specifically do haunts to raise money for other charities.
Okay.
Like this year, we're specifically doing the haunt for the Elks here in Kissimmee, Florida. And that money that we raise when we do the haunts will go specifically to the charity. So for this year, it'll be going to raise money for children with disabilities that can't afford physical or occupational therapy. And so all the money from the haunt will go directly to them. We raise money through the year as a corporation, so that the hosting charity does not have to pay a dime for us to come in and do the build and all of that. So our goal throughout the year is to raise enough money to do a full build so that the moment we open our doors, every single penny will go directly to the charity to fund these kids. And every year we do different organizations, not necessarily by choice. Sometimes we do multiple years. Last year we did Habitat for Humanity. This year again is the Elks. So it does change yearly. We don't really know. And so that means the layout is different. It means the theme is different because we do have the hosting organization give input to what they want.
Sure.
So it can be fun. And again, it's about the kids. And so the kids get to have their input. And this year we're doing a festival to go with it.
Nice.
And it'll be a lot of fun. But that's pretty much what we do. But the other side to that is not just the charity side. All of our haunts that we design and build specifically to help people that would otherwise that have neurodevelopmental disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, whatever the case may be. We design an adaptive environment and an immersive environment, but that can be, all of the special effects can be cut immediately. And so if we're told ahead of time, and we're known for this throughout the community with children with, for instance, with autism, and they can't take strobe lighting or whatever special effects that would otherwise not be good for them, we cut them immediately. All of our actors are trained that they know that if somebody comes through, we have what's called the lantern protocol. And we have the kids hold lanterns and they'll walk through and they're scaring our actors. So they're in control of the environment.
I love that.
And so they're fully, we make sure that everybody who can or wants to go through a haunt, but is not too sure. We've had some really amazing people. We've had 98-year-olds come through because they're like, I have a bad heart, but I want to scare people and I want to see everything. And so we do have them come through and they hold up their lantern and they go after our actors, and it's a lot of fun. But
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It really is. And again, we have a lot of military people that have post-traumatic stress disorder. And we make sure that everybody gets a specialized experience coming through. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's what we're known for. We have a great group of volunteers on our board of directors, ranging anywhere from lighting engineers to Hollywood writers that do all of the backstories. We have people that, and living in the area that we do, we even have some of the designers that work on Universal stuff. And
I can only imagine being able to tap into that Florida workforce. Like,
I know. It's crazy. And so we do benefit from that because everybody, let's face it, everybody loves Halloween Horror Nights. And people come from all over. And so it's nice living in an area that's very supportive of that sort of environment. And so we have a lot of opportunities to do good for the community and raise a lot of money for some really good charities.
That is super cool. And I could easily spend an entire podcast episode just picking your brain on how you run this. I have to know though, you're doing a different build every year. Are the charities supplying locations for you?
Yes.
Are you building indoors, outdoors?
Yes.
Does it vary year to year? So
yes,
whole variety.
All of the above.
Variety.
All of the above.
Yeah, we don't know. We try really hard to, before we start our haunt in October, wherever we're at, to know where we're going the following year. But like this last year, we didn't know until the day we closed. And then we found out that they wanted an indoor and outdoor haunt. And so it was like, oh, okay. And so that's when we have a creative bunch, and you really, for me, it's all about being flexible. And you never know what you're going to be faced with. And I mean, that's pretty much the haunt industry. When you're going through a haunt, you don't know what you're going to be faced with. So I guess we've just taken that to a whole new level in designing aspects that we do the layout, and our designers sit down and get the square footage, and we do the whole layout. And then it builds from there. And then we will have a full weekend with our team designing everything out, coming up with different special effects. And then we make that list. And then at our party in December for our company, we have the whole thing done. That's what we do for our holiday party. And then from January 1st till October,
execute, start putting things together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a production, and it's certainly not easy at times, but I wouldn't change a thing because the people in the haunt industry are some of the most incredible, generous people. In their knowledge, in their expertise, and in their giving of time. So it does work out. As hectic as it is, it does work out.
And I think that it is shown just very clearly from the amount of giving that you have given back to the industry. You've been on the chamber board for 4 or 5 years now.
Yes.
And what were your previous roles before assuming the presidency?
Well, I started off as, hey, Rob, I'd like to volunteer. And here we are today.
Those are dangerous words.
Yeah, I mean, I suffer from helium hand. So I volunteer whenever there's...
Never heard it called that. I love it.
No, that's awesome. I'm going to steal that.
God, that resonates.
And so it sometimes does not work to my benefit, but it is what it is. And we all have our idiosyncrasies. That's mine.
So I started working more and more with Rob and realized that the Chamber of Haunters was an asset to what we were doing. And because there were certain things that I didn't understand, whether it was a permitting issue or whether it was dealing with fire marshals or whether it was contracts or anything. You know, our company is a young company. So getting in with an organization like the Chamber of Haunters was a plethora of information.
Yeah.
And so I knew that if I wanted to learn the industry, I had to learn from some of the best. And so I started volunteering. And then from there, I went into outreach and I started being one of the outreach directors. And then from being outreach, I went into being a vice president. And well, here we are today.
It's quite the I'm going to say rapid ascent
really,
of the organization.
Truly, you know, but I wouldn't change it. The friendships are unbelievable. Again, going back to the wealth of information and knowledge that the chamber holds, just as a group, it is an incredible experience to be a part of this community. And the community is so giving that you wouldn't want to really be anywhere else because everybody becomes kind of a family.
Yeah, I feel it. Les, you want to jump in? Sorry, I thought you had something on your mind.
Lots of things on my mind.
Why is she this crazy to agree to it?
No, we're in the haunt industry. We're all nuts. It comes with the territory. I mean, just ask Keoni how many haunts we've maxed out designing and building and managing in the course of, one season.
At my worst, I was building and designing 3 haunts at the same time.
See, that's just nuts.
I know.
See?
I have stepped back.
You're in good company.
Clearly. I'm good with that.
So Rob, I think, did a very good job of kind of building the chamber from inception to where we are today. I'm very impressed with all of the services that you provide to the members, everything from legal services to the ghost protocol to the conventions. There is a ton of value that he has built in already. What is your vision for kind of moving the chamber forward and continuing that tradition?
Well, I'm all about the community, and outreach is truly where I started, and it really is my passion. I think there's a large population out there that gets so caught up with the how to build something that they miss a lot of the legal, and vice versa, where you have a lot of people that get so caught up with the permitting process and everything. They don't know how to do drop windows. They don't know about speed controllers. They don't know there's so much out there. And then they suddenly get like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? So my whole thing is to go back to the beginnings of it, and that is make sure that our outreach goes to the people who need it the most. And I really want to focus on making sure that even people that are not members have access to materials that they need. I really believe that the community has a tremendous amount to teach one another. And it's just connecting those dots and bringing those people together and making sure that the information gets out in the easiest way, because I'll be honest with you, I am not a technical person. You can ask my husband and I'll just blink at him when he comes up with stuff, or if we're talking like yesterday, we were talking about lighting and doing all sorts of lighting mapping. And I was just like, that's great. I approve. I did a lot of that yesterday, and I had absolutely no clue what they were talking about. But that's the beauty of the industry. So my goal is to make sure that the information gets out to the people that need it the most, and in variety of different ways, whether that's through the lunch and learns, I think are going to be a fabulous asset for everybody. But the different podcasts, the social media sites, the different platforms out there, I really firmly believe in getting to the basis, to do the grassroots, to do the outreach, so that the people that need it most have the information at their fingertips.
Absolutely. And we are here to help in any way that we can. So please use us as a tool. Absolutely.
Well, because we have, the engineer who does the builds and the mechanics. We have John, who's our marketing and, writing guru. And I tend to hit the random stuff in between, which often involves, okay, we should do this. And then he gets to figure out how.
Leslie is definitely the idea person. And then I figure out how to make her ideas come true. Like it's a good team. It's a good partnership we have
That's
here.
fantastic.
Yep.
This works with my wife too. Like she throws out ideas and I find ways to make them happen.
You see, that's how it works. And, it takes...
You need all of those different skills.
You do.
And I think that is what makes the chamber so special, because you have people with all of these different skills that you can tap into for whatever you need.
And it's amazing because, right now we're focused on getting to the Texas convention.
Yes, exactly what I want to talk about next.
And we have an amazing gentleman, Roland, and he is doing all of our set design for us. And so not only has he built everything for us, he's going to be on site to help us all set it up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite the teaching experience. And, I'm just grateful. I really am, because you have people that are willing to step up to the plate to not only put something like that together, a full walkthrough for the convention, but he's going to be on site to teach everybody how to do it in case they haven't done it. And I've been reaching out to people saying, if you've never done just a simple walkthrough, come on, come look at it, come see it, come feel it, know what it's
behind the scenes.
Yeah, because this is an opportunity. Again, it's giving back to the community in which we all belong in and we all love. And to have those people, again, that know how to do the pneumatics, know how to do all of the set design, know how to do the foam carving. All of those are integral aspects. And without them, where would we be? And to have them all in the chamber is just, it's an incredible experience. So to be able to be, with them and immersed into that environment, I don't know how anybody would turn it down personally.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little more about Texas Hunters Convention, because it's coming up about a month from now, July 26th and 27th, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. Go check out the Haunting You website, because our calendar has all of the events that we know of, and it will definitely be accurate there, even if it's not accurate me saying it here, listeners. But with a month to go, you guys have got to be just in crunch time. What is the chamber have planned for the convention? Talk about it.
We have a full walkthrough this year, and I wasn't 100% sure how it was going to be, because I hadn't seen the designs until this week, and it is incredible. It's going to be a mausoleum. And we have a full cemetery that's in front. So it's kind of a larger walkthrough than I was expecting. Again, we have amazing people from different haunts. David from Afterlife is going to be there. He's also the vice president. Thank God I have a vice president. We also have Sue Gray Jones, and she had her haunt down in Texas for many, many years. And so she's helping put this together. Roland Pickens, who's actually doing the set design and build. We have just an amazing crew. So it'll be a lot of fun. We have I believe it or not, my company is the charity haunt this year, which before I was president, I was really focused on getting that booth done. But we're going to be, through everything, we're going to be right by the Chamber of Haunters, and we've been a member of the Chamber of Haunters for several years. So it'll be nice to have that addition too. We'll have a cool little corner at Texas Haunters. And I told everybody designing it, I'm like, so here's the deal. There's going to be no, I don't have to jump fencing or anything. It's going to be a straight shot between the two booths. So it'll be a lot of fun. And I've encouraged all of our members to reach out to me, to give me materials that they want me to promote throughout the haunt. I'm going to have a table with our members, different locations, different props.
I owe you stuff.
Yes, you do. And it would help if I give you my address so you could send that stuff.
We'll talk after the recording.
But yes, it's all about promoting our members and going back to grassroots. You have to be able to help one another. And I'm all for helping one another. And that's where it starts. We are a chamber. And the chamber will help all of our businesses, whether that is in set design or prop design or marketing. Our marketing people are just amazing as well. It props off to everybody. So I need their materials so I can help promote them.
Yeah.
That's what the chamber is about. And having the mixers I want to do on a more regular basis so that we are promoting into the haunt community. So, having you be our outreach person, that's amazing. And I personally feel very blessed. I couldn't be in a better position right now.
On that note, we were talking a little bit before we started the recording. When you told your family, your haunt, about suddenly assuming the presidency, how did they take it?
They were very happy. They really were. And I didn't I thought, okay, well, how are they going to take it? I'm like stepping away a little bit from it. And it wasn't like that at all. They were like, how do we support you? How do we move forward? How do we, what do you need us to take over so that you can focus on the other stuff? I was a little bit taken back by everybody being so supportive. And at first it was like, aren't you guys going to miss me? And then I realized, no, it's not that. I'm not leaving anything. I'm just bringing another aspect to it.
Yeah.
And they are thoroughly, wholeheartedly on board in every capacity. Like I said, we have an amazing gentleman that does writing and has done writing for Hollywood. And I am so grateful for John keeping me on track when it comes to the stories. We have Dennis, who does all of our lighting and engineering. We have, our accountant even, who keeps us all straight and makes sure that the money gets spent appropriately. And and then of course I wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for my husband Josh. He is my main support, and he does a little bit of everything, whether it's designing or building or just supporting me through the mental breakdowns. We just are all just an incredible team. And we have an amazing outreach director, Story, who works with a gentleman of Dell, and they go and do all of our donations. And again, I mean, I feel really blessed. We have another lady. She is a school teacher here in Florida, Lexi, and she handles all of the volunteer hours for the kids. So everybody. So for them to jump in and say, whatever you need for Texas, we'll book our tickets today. And me sitting there like, really? You're all coming to Texas? And they're like, yeah, why wouldn't we? And so, yeah, it's going to be a really fun plane ride from Florida to Dallas.
Sounds like it. You're buying out the whole plane.
Exactly. So I'm bringing my family into the chamber as well. And it's just, I'm so grateful. I can't say that enough. I mean, I am truly in an incredible position with wonderful people that are so giving of themselves and so dedicated to the haunt community. I mean, what more could you really want?
Yeah, seriously. And it sounds like you've got all the support that you need to just do a fantastic job in your new role.
I hope so. But I really, I don't want to burn bridges as well, and so now that again, going through the emails and everything, and when I discovered you guys were on board, I felt like, a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders, because outreach was like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping away from my baby. And like, but to know that you guys are there, and it's, again, that supportive environment, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Awesome.
Very grateful.
And we are so excited to be working with you. I've loved the last 5 years that we've had working with Rob. I think we have done great things for each other, and I cannot wait to build that same relationship with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fun.
I think so too. What have we missed? What do you want to tell anyone out there, chamber members, non-chamber members, that we haven't covered?
Reach out to us with what you need. That's really a lot of this, because I can't do everything. And I'm sure that there are aspects in the haunt industry that are not being addressed and that you need help with, because as you were saying, to do these lunch and learns, they are going to go on. They are going to move forward. We're going to have a variety of topics. And I need to hear from people and what they want. And if I know what people want, then we can produce it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Absolutely love that. What will be your focus here? I think obviously over the next month, Texas Hunters Convention is going to be your focus. Once we're past that, kind of what's the first thing that you want to try to stand up and get moving?
Membership. It's all about membership and outreach. I need to know who I need to serve, who the chamber is there for. And again, I don't know if a lot of people are slipping through those cracks or what they need from us, but I need to do outreach to help promote them. So it's going to be promoting the membership. That's really what my main focus is going to be.
I love it. I love it. Kimberly Grant, the new president of the Chamber of Hunters. Thank you so much for taking the time to come sit down with us, introduce yourself to the community.
I really appreciate you guys.
And we are so excited to work with you.
Bye-bye.
So again, that was Kimberly Grant, the new president of the Chamber of Hunters. If you want to learn more about the Chamber of Hunters, check out the show notes because there's a link to them there, or chamberofhunters.com. You can find all of the information about what the chamber provides, what it costs to become a member, and the value that you get out of becoming a member is all there on that website. So go check it out.
Really, it's so much value. I mean, beyond everything that, they've been trying to put together, one of the biggest things is they will connect you with whatever experts you need to make your haunt happen.
Keoni is nodding vigorously, even though you can't see it.
So, I mean, again, we all know the Facebook pages of like, I need to find this. I need to find this. How do I do this? And you always get the mix of, just search it on the Facebook page, or how do you not know that already? Or, the couple of people are like, oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. It's like this. The chamber's another place that you can go where the response is always going to be, oh, yeah, please talk to this person.
Exactly. So go check them out. You will not regret it. I promise. So that is the show for today. Of course, you can always find the Haunting You podcast on our website, hauntingyou.com, or any of our social media, facebook.com/hauntingyou, Instagram at Haunting University, and YouTube at Haunting You, just the letter U. Go check out all of our social media because as we are getting now, like right now, we are into build season. I'm starting to create things. I am videotaping I'm dating myself. I am recording as I'm doing all of these builds, and those are going to end up on all of our social media. So go check it out, and you can see everything that we're doing as we're doing it. I'm terrible at editing, so I just put it out there. Quickly as I'm making it, I'm putting it out there. So go follow us on all of the socials and pass us along to anyone else who you think would benefit from seeing what we do as well. Anything else before we wrap up?
We need a deformed bunny.
She's doing origami as we record because it helps her, and she made a deformed bunny.
I need sleep.
She needs more sleep.
Or coffee.
I'm going to start assembling shit like this into a bloopers reel and just start putting bloopers out on our socials as well, because I think people would enjoy seeing half asleep Leslie with her deformed bunny.
It's certainly
exactly.
This is why I'm not allowed unsupervised.
Fact. You need some caffeine. So let's break so Les can go find some caffeine. From all of us here at the Haunting You podcast, stay spooky, my friends, and happy haunting.
Bye, everybody.
We are incredibly grateful to all the sponsors who make this show possible, especially our premium sponsors, the Chamber of Haunters and VFX. You can learn more about our premium sponsors by checking out their websites at chamberofhaunters.com and vfxcreates.com. Check out our website at hauntingyou.com for more information on everything that we do. Haunting You can be reached via Facebook at facebook.com/hauntingyou with just the letter U, or on Instagram under the handle at Haunting University, and YouTube under the handle at Haunting You. Haunting You is a production of Sanguine Creek Entertainment. All audio clips and sound effects are used under a Creative Commons Attribution or public domain license from Purple Planet Music at purple-planet.com or the Sound Bible at soundbible.com. Please see the show notes for more information on all the clips used in this episode.